So looks like Shoop's going to go up 1-0 in the Freeze Mage mirror here. Shoop, I believe, he had a Dragon Priest, right?
Shoop did, yeah. He had Dragon Priest.
Dragon Priest
very
and
similar
Zoo,
list to,
I think.
Yeah, very similar list to Prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit faster, like a little bit more minion heavy than Prophecies was. Yeah. Like maybe not double and tomb, but we didn't get to see too much of it. So we'll see if Shoop can take it. We still have Zoo left for both players. Hard to say who's favored. I really don't think the Freeze Mage mirror says much. It gives a good edge to Shoop, but I don't think it really gives much information over.
Yeah, I mean, Chess Dude will find a win with Freeze Mage versus, Priest or Zoo. And it looks like Chess Dude's going to go over to his bread and butter. He's going to go over to Rogue.
All right, well, this is a really good matchup, Rogue versus Zoo. A lot of tools. They didn't lose Blade Flurry, but they effectively lost Blade Flurry.
Mm-hmm.
That's one less AoE spell that they have, but Fan of Knives, when Fan of Knives clears the whole board, it's pretty big deal. And Shadow Strike is one of the best ways to deal with Dark Shadow Councilman, because it's one of the only burn spells that can be used on turn 3 to deal 5 damage. So
yeah, Shadow Strike's actually really impressed me so far in the first couple games, and this Tidehunter, this Biofin Tidehunter, I think is the name of the card. This guy's actually been pretty impressive as well for one of the neutrals that's starting to show up in decks.
Yeah, it really is pretty strong. It also does really well with the Darkshire Councilman, which is been one of the key cards now, and now he's going to hide this brand behind it. It is going to eat a Shadow Strike most likely, because you can't really leave that up. You don't want to give Zoo Dark Peddler value.
Yeah, you can't take all the extra damage from just like an abusive sergeant that gets tacked on too. I mean, it's not like would be getting a ton of value from it, but every little damage ends up counting up, since you're mostly just trying to stay alive for the first few turns. You got these Fan of Knives and stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's just going to flood the board here. I mentioned how we see Malagos. I mentioned how the Rogues sort of lost some of this AoE, but what they gained back was a lot of powerful minions, and their minions were preserved. Not preserved in the sense that like they were made better or anything. They were preserved in the fact that all of the good stuff that they played in the past is still there. They didn't really lose anything with Standard. They still have SI agents. They still have Violet Teachers. They still have Tomb Pillagers. They still have Azure Drakes. All of their good stuff is still there. So they have stronger minions to make up for their lack of potential AoE with Blade Flurry.
Yeah, I mean, Tomb Pillager is like just such a strong card right now. A lot of people are saying it might be one of the best minions in Hearthstone now, since Pilot Shredder and a bunch of other stuff has kind of checked out. And you saw Chess Dude use this coin to get an Azure Drake into play here this turn, and that's a pretty big cost. Coin is very important to the Rogue deck.
Yeah. One of the bad things about Fan of Knives being your only AoE spell is that and having strong minions is that sometimes you just have a handful of minions and not enough mana to play at all. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what Chess Dude's running into here. Is he just needs to buy more time, and Fan of Knives here basically just puts more power onto the board than it takes away, which is not something you want to do. He can like Earth the Ring Farseer and develop something, but it looks like he's just gonna have to throw an Eviscerate into this Imp King boss to try and stymie some of this damage that's gonna keep coming at him. He needs about a lot more time.
Yeah, I guess if you start doing that, it does actually start making your Fan of Knives at least playable at some point, because you're going to have to cast this card. Like, you're going to need to Fan of Knives some turn soon to alleviate some of the pressure, kill some of these guys, and draw a card. So maybe you start having to work to a board state where Fan of Knives is actually profitable instead of giving extra power to your opponent.
Yeah. He's really thinking this one through. I mean, I think it's got to be the right play.
Yeah.
Just because you need to start making your Fan of Knives better, you need to start taking some of this damage off the board. So I definitely agree with that. Ooh. Well, there's the Darkshire Councilman.
And an Eviscerate just got used. That feels pretty good here this turn.
Yeah, how's he going to deal with that? He's already seen a Shadow Strike as well. Some decks don't even run 2, especially Malagos doesn't usually have room for 2 Shadow Strikes. That's one of the first cards to go.
Picks up another Possessed Villager, too. Another card that gets extra value off of Phantom Knives.
And he's going to make this board just bad against Phantom Knives.
Yeah, love the way Shoop's playing this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess double Phantom Knives is okay, because it'll take off a lot of stuff. You won't get any additional value from the Imp Gang boss, because the board will be full. So
yeah, and then you can use your dagger to kind of finish off the Void Walker as well. But then you're taking a bunch of damage.
And the
Councilman.
Yeah, he's going to go up to 6 attack.
Right, yeah, go up to 6 plus. I mean, if you draw any of the big charge minions like Leroy or Doomguard, that might be enough.
Yeah, so it'd be at 6 with the Endgame boss would be 8. He'd be at 16 health because he'd attack with the dagger. So yeah, he'd need 8 damage. Double power overwhelming plus a charger. And he only has the only healing that rogues run nowadays is Earthring Farseer. Double Earthring Farseer usually. There's no heal bot. Yeah. They don't run whatever that apothecary card is.
It would be pretty good right here.
Yeah.
Gain 10, put a 4/4 into play.
Yeah.
I've seen some people playing it. I've seen it in some like Reno lists and stuff like that. So yeah, it looks like the double Phantom Knives might just be the play, or maybe just Earthring Farseers here.
The second Phantom Knives takes off a lot more damage on the board than this, but I guess he's not.
Ooh. Is that lethal? Hold on. If he runs a 1/1 in, it's 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. He's 1 short. No. It is lethal. You run in a 1/1, and it's 7 and 6. It's 13.
Yeah, that is
20. Yeah. You trade in a 1/1 and you Leroy here, and that is game.
Exact lethal. And this is the threat of Dark Shadow Councilman once again. Now it's 7 attack this time. Chess Dude found himself in this exact same situation, sort of underestimating how powerful that card is. And again, it just wins games. It's super powerful. 7 attack on a 3-drop that has 5 health is just nuts. And yeah, so Shoop just takes a quick 2-0 now. And Chess Dude's definitely on the back foot.
Yeah, public service announcement from Tana Grace and TJ. You cannot leave the Councilman in play. You are going to die. It is going to kill you.
The thing is, he didn't even have a way to kill it, is the funny thing. He could have taken more power off the board. Like he could have Phantom Knives again and been at 16 and left 8 damage on the board. And so he would have needed something more than just Leroy to finish off the game.
Maybe he's thinking, I'm trying to figure out why he Earthen Rings, because like, all right, if he Earthen Rings and lives through that turn, he has a 3/3 in play, and then he can Phantom Knives plus some other stuff that turn, maybe draw Azure Drake into Phantom Knives. Because I'm trying to think, if he Phantom Knives there it's like a play to not die, less than a play to win.